Wow, what a crazy game between the Timberwolves and the Grizzlies. Game 5, with the Grizzlies winning it 111 to 109, and just great back and forth action down the stretch. John Morant hits a massive three, and then the Timberwolves have this really bad possession that ends with D'Angelo Russell taking a really terrible shot and missing. And then John Morant hits two free throws to put the Grizzlies up three. And then the Timberwolves drop a great play with an off-ball screen for Anthony Edwards to get a corner three, ties up the game at 109. And then last possession of the game, Grizzlies this time off the inbound with about 3 seconds left, get the ball to John Morant. Anthony Edwards gambles for a steal immaturely. Like, it was pretty silly gamble, especially at that point in the game. And then John Morant hits a really tough left-hand layup around Jared Vanderbilt to win it. And yeah, just this game was absolutely wild. I think one of the best games of the playoffs so far, especially given the importance in the game 5. And the Timberwolves were on top for the majority of it, to be honest. And I think a big reason for that was the difference in three-point shooting. The Wolves shot 42% from three, and the Grizzlies shot 25% from three. There was a point in the game where the Grizzlies were 3 for 20 from three, and it felt like they just couldn't get anything to go down. And yeah, you have to credit the Wolves' defense a little bit, but also I felt like the Grizzlies were just missing a lot of open looks. And then there's also the free throws, where the Grizzlies were also missing a ton. They ended at about 66%, a lot thanks to John Morant, who down the stretch was able to get to the line a lot. But yeah, at one point it was really, really costing them. And then there's just the fouls, which is between Karl-Anthony Towns and Jaren Jackson Jr. It's like they're in a competition to see who can foul out first. Today it was Jaren who fouled out with like 6 minutes left on just a lot of silly fouls, and that really hurt the Grizzlies and was a big reason why they didn't lead for a lot of the game, because Jaren Jackson Jr. was only able to play 18 minutes. If I talk a bit more, the Grizzlies were down for a lot of the game, and Jaren fouling, and Jaren and Ja just not really playing so great for the majority of the game really hurt them. But then down the stretch, they were able to turn it on, especially with John Morant getting to the free throw line. I thought that was a lot of it. And then Desmond Bane hit a couple of big shots. And then Brandon Clark, who was absolutely massive for the Grizzlies off the bench, played 37 minutes, had 15 rebounds, 21 points. He had a huge offensive rebound tip out that led to a John Morant three down the stretch. And I thought overall, his rebounding was just massive for the Grizzlies, because down the stretch, when Jaren fouled out, they were running Tyus Jones, John Morant, Desmond Bane, and Dylan Brooks with Brandon Clark. So not a lot of rebounding help, and he had to do a lot on the boards. And then, other stuff for the Grizzlies that didn't go great. Dylan Brooks shot 3 for 18, which happened, which obviously isn't great at all. And so he shot 1 for 10 from 3. And for the Grizzlies to win this game, despite how badly they shot it from 3 and their struggles from the free throw line and Jaren Jackson Jr. fouling out, it took a lot of John Morant free throws down the stretch. And it took Brandon Clark. And then on the Minnesota side of things, they turned it over quite a bit. I thought D'Angelo Russell a few times forced some pretty bad shots. He was 4 for 10 in this game. And then Towns, I thought Towns was pretty good in this game. Got to the free throw line a fair bit, was 5 for 7 from 3. It feels like there's periods with Karl-Anthony Towns where he's like not even in the game, and then he shows up with a massive three. A couple of the threes he had were very, very big for them. And then someone else who was good for the Timberwolves was Jaden McDaniels. I thought they should have gone to him earlier in the game. He played down the stretch, but in total only played 18 minutes, but was a plus 13 in this game. I thought he was definitely better than Jared Vanderbilt and was probably their best option at the wing position, because he can defend and he can shoot a little bit. And then also for the Wolves, Patrick Beverley filed out late, so that really had an impact for them down the stretch. But just overall, I thought it was a great game. Lots of trash talk going back and forth, lots of runs. And, for the Grizzlies, I think it is a bit worrying how they haven't looked great these playoffs so far, but they are up 3-2. And I think, all the things people said when they were doubting the Grizzlies before the playoffs have sort of happened. Like Jaren Jackson Jr. is not able to stay on the floor. They're not shooting great from three. And, their depth isn't as big of a factor now that the playoffs have started. But then there's also, the transition. There's less transition opportunities, but when the Grizzlies do get out in transition, they are very good. I don't think the series is over because the T-Wolves Game 6 is back in Minnesota, and I think they could easily win that. But I think it'll just be interesting to see how the two teams respond in the next game because, the series isn't over. But, man, this was a great game. And, I haven't even mentioned, the Ja Morant dunk on Malik Beasley, which was a just great in-game dunk. And then, just so many highlight plays, so much back and forth action, and had a great end. But anyways, thanks for watching. Leave a like and subscribe.